A new teaser for Arcane Season 2 just dropped, and there's currently a countdown to the official trailer's world premiere that will be posted in less than 24 hours. This new teaser might only be 20 seconds long, but there's a ton of hidden information to unpack, so get ready for some Arcane analysis. Obviously, when the trailer comes out, I'll do a deep dive into that as well. The first frame shows the Hex Gates viewed from the streets, high and mighty, seemingly untouchable, menacing even. A simple yet effective comparison to Piltover viewed by the Undercity. Next frame, we see Caitlyn in her new uniform, overlooking the city. This angle shows how Piltovans view themselves, above it all. Two very different points of view to show the contrast between the topside and the Undercity. Then we get to see Ambessa in what I would say is her counselor uniform. We first saw this outfit in a recent poster, her hair tied into a golden circle, making her look like a saint, Piltover's savior. Her clothing also no longer looks Noxian. The long black robe embroidered with gold gives her a very Piltovan look. When I first saw this outfit, I guessed that Ambessa was going to become one of Piltover's leaders, maybe a council member. And the first sentence of this teaser kind of confirms that.
To return peace to this city, you must declare martial law.
We must declare martial law, not you. Ambessa is part of the people who need to take that decision. She has that power now. She isn't just some Noxian general on a trip to visit her daughter, even though that wasn't the real reason she came to Piltover in Season 1, obviously. Ever since the first trailer for Season 2 came out, I've been saying that Ambessa will try to declare martial law, positioning herself as the only person who could possibly deal with the violence from the Undercity due to her experience as a general. And although she might make it seem like she'd be doing this for Piltover's well-being, all she wants is to take control of Hextech, so she can provide this powerful technology to the Noxian Empire. Remember,
Mark me, child. If you want to last in this world, you must learn to be both the fox and the wolf.
be the fox and the wolf. A cunning plan using a civil war to get what she wants. This also foreshadows some future events which we might get a chance to see in the next Riot animation series, that being the Noxian invasion of Ionia, which, since Arcane takes place in the past, hasn't happened yet. Singed has yet to start working with the Noxians to provide chemical weapons, for example, and when we look at this teaser, we might get an idea of how he ends up working for them. Let me explain. After we see Ambessa, there's a shot of Noxian soldiers standing attention, which we had already seen in the first trailer, then Piltover enforcers walking through what could be Stillwater. The hypothesis here is that there's been a prison riot and the enforcers are here to subdue the prisoners. Then we see an enforcer fighting one of the firelights we saw in Season 1, and then more enforcers putting up barriers to block entry to Piltover. But in this frame, we can see that this enforcer has a new symbol on his chest that, even though it vaguely resembles the Kierman crest, could be the symbol of a new Piltovan militia under Ambessa's orders. In the first trailer, we saw Singed getting arrested by enforcers. He put his hands in the air and drops his scalpel. If those enforcers are working for Ambessa, that could be how Singed ends up in contact with Noxus, and how he starts creating weapons for them, be it willingly or not. I personally like the idea of Singed being forced to work for Noxus. In his original lore, he was a complete psychopath, with a grand total of 0 empathy, who tortured people for science. An absolutely 100% horrible person. But I think that Arcane will give some context to Singed, and make him more of a morally grey character. As we saw in Season 1, when Victor comes to see him, he says,
I understand now.
I'd be happy to see a deeper development of Singed as a character. The next shot in the teaser is the building where Silco had reunited the other Cambarans in Season 1, which shows that we're now transitioning to the Undercity's point of view. The first half of the teaser is Piltover's skyline, Piltover's leaders, Piltover's armed forces, and the second half of the teaser is the Undercity's response, their rebellion, and their savior. An important thing to note is Savika has a new haircut, and that helps with temporality. In the sneak peek we got where Savika picks up Jinx's gun, she still has her outfit and haircut from season 1, meaning that scene happens shortly after Jinx blows up the council. This new scene, however, has to be later on. Savika is most likely trying to convince Jinx to become the new symbol of the nation of Zon, independent from Piltover. But it does look like Jinx doesn't really want that. She's in over her head. All these people who are looking up to her, ready to follow her lead, it seems too much. And that could be why Savika is giving her that speech. And when she says, "You're a symbol," we get this magnificent shot. Now, there's a lot to talk about in this image. Jinx is depicted as a savior, raising her fist in defiance, but for peace. The white doves, the calmness on her face, and Vander beside her all show this wish for peace. Vander used to be the peacekeeper between Topside and the Undercity. Grayson and him had an understanding to keep both sides in check, allowing a hateful cohabitation, yes, but a non-violent one. But the Undercity were also underprivileged and exploited by the Topsiders. That situation wasn't good enough for many people, like Silco and Savika, who wanted freedom and independence. They were tired of living under Piltover's boot, but they never had the firepower to fight off their oppressors. That's why Silco was working on Shimmer in the first place, to have a way to fight back. After Jinx's rocket, things changed. The Undercity showed they could fight back, and fight back hard. Piltover is at risk now. And in this painting, Jinx is above Piltover. We can see the typical Piltovan buildings beneath her. Despite her actions, she is a symbol for peace. And peace is more important than Zon, and more important than Piltover. That's why she's shown above all of it. All Zonites don't necessarily want to fight, but they can, and they will, if their needs are not met. One thing that is missing from this painting, however, is Vi. And here she is, looking at this radiant symbol, this light of hope, who she once wanted to save. Amanda Overton herself said, "Vi is a protector." But who is she if she has no one left to protect? That could have been interpreted as, what happens if she loses Jinx? But with this shot and this context, it could simply be, what happens when Jinx no longer needs protection? Saving her sister is what kept Vi going for all those years in prison, a time during which she didn't really evolve as a person. She stuck to her past, while the entire world outside of that prison changed drastically. Now, Vi barely recognizes the Undercity, and not only does Jinx no longer need to be saved or protected, but the Undercity kind of forgot about Vi too. She was presumed dead. Nobody is counting on her anymore. Anywhere. Even more so when she ends up joining the Enforcers. She could even be seen as a traitor. Now we reach the last few frames of the teaser. The same blue flare Jinx used in Season 1 as a distress signal to Vi to find her, now a symbol of the Zonite rebellion. An entire crowd raises their fist to show their support. But that is not Jinx's hand. So whose is it? Honestly, I don't know. It does look like they are in the streets of Piltover, or at least very close. The walls in the background and the natural sunlight are pretty good indicators. This scene makes me very curious, and I'd like to know what you think about it. The full official trailer comes out in less than 24 hours, so I'll probably have some nice theories to share with you after that. So if you don't want to miss them, subscribe. 2 more months until Season 2 comes out.